Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Your Overseas Home webinar, Golden Opportunities: How to Secure Residency with Greece's Golden Visa. Now, I looked over our last survey from last spring, and we asked people what their biggest worries were about buying property in Greece or moving to Greece, and the second biggest answer was getting a visa. So we know it's a big worry for people, and we want to explain that it need not be a big worry. So that's why we are so pleased to be joined by Alina Tarasova. I hope I've pronounced that correctly, from Holborn Assets. So Alina, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and Holborn Assets just before we start?
Sure. Thank you so much, Christopher, for introduction. It's my pleasure to be here. My name is Alina Tarasova, and I've been in immigration for nearly 8 years now. I've been working with different golden visas, but now I'm head of Greece and Malta for Holborn Pass. I will tell you a bit more about the company during my presentation. In general, we're dealing with wealth management, but we also help clients with golden visas and second citizenship. So hopefully today my presentation will help you to understand that visas is not that hard.
Excellent, thank you. So there's going to be a presentation, but most of all, we want to hear your questions. So do enjoy the presentation, but do also think about any questions that you might want to ask. And if you would like to put those in the questions tab, which I believe should be on your right-hand side of your screen somewhere, just put in the answer, and I will ask Alina that question afterwards. Just to get you in a typing mode, or in an interactive mode, why don't you tell us where you are at the moment? I think we'd find that really interesting. Are you based in the UK? Are you based in the US? Based in other countries? Love to hear where you're from and why you would like to move to Greece. I think that would just get us off to a good start. Okay, yeah. So over to Alina.
Thank you so much. Again, thank you everyone who joined us today. Hopefully my presentation going to help you to decide that Greece is the right destination for you. So a little bit more about the agenda of today's presentation. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the company, Holborn Group, and Holborn Pass in particular. We're going to talk a little bit more about residency by investment in general, about the industry. Then I'm going to smoothly move to Greece Golden Visa program, tell you a little bit more about the history, the requirements, the main benefits of it. Also, we will cover the process step by step, because I think for a lot of people it's very important to understand what they're getting into, and also investment options, something that is very important as well when we speak about golden visas. So we're going to touch on that as well. First of all, let me start tell you a little bit more about Holborn Assets. So the company was established in 1998, and it's a leading award-winning global financial services company that provides quality financial advice to its customers. So at the moment, we manage over 20,000 clients throughout our 20 international offices, and we have over 500 employees working for us. Holborn Pass is a part of the wider Holborn Group. I'm actually a partner at Holborn Pass. We help international clients to get investor visas and also second citizenship. We do it through partnerships with different law firms, developers, financial managers, and we provide comprehensive residency and citizenship solutions to our clients from all over the world. Obviously, the main reason why we do it is because we want to help our clients pursue their goals, and this is what we have as a forefront of our business. We are proud that all our applications have 100% success rates, so you should be comfortable when working with us. We've processed over 200 applications every year, and we've already helped over 1,000 clients with their golden visa needs. Sometimes clients come to us to get a new document, for example, if they already started with us as second citizenship journeys and they come to get their golden visa as well. So we're always happy to discuss what you need, what is your pains right now, what difficulties you have traveling around the world, planning your future, planning the future of your kids. So come to us, ask your questions, and we will see how we can help it by getting you a document. So a little bit more about our service. So when we speak about getting the golden visas, I know a lot of people are worried that we're just going to help you to get the document and that's it. When it comes to us and our golden visa services, we help you from the moment that you sign the agreement till the moment that you hold your residence card. So it means we provide you all the guidance on the investment options available. If we talk about real estate, we're going to give you guidance on the real estate opportunities in the country of choice. Our lawyers will help you to do due diligence on the projects that you've selected. Also, if you need to help with negotiations with the property developers, it will be part of our service as well. When it comes to the selection of properties and review of the records, we can also do that. We will prepare the sales and purchase agreements for you. If you need any tax advice related to that, bank account opened, local tax representation, this is all included in the service that we provide. So we try to make you as comfortable as possible, when it comes to a golden visa, so you don't have to inquire with different companies, trying to find the right service for you. So basically, we are one-stop shop, and you can be sure that if you decided to get your golden visa for Greece with us, we're going to cover every step and every aspect of this process for you. So in future, if you need to help to renew your residence card, or for example, if you qualify for citizenship after spending certain time in the country, we can also do that for you. Obviously, the renewals is a separate process, so it's not included in the initial package, but for our clients, we will always try to make the best deal when it comes to renewals as well. So let's talk a little bit more about residency and citizenship by investment industry. I've been working in it for nearly 8 years now, and I think that it's amazing that people get the opportunity to become citizens of the world, that they can live in any country that they think it's suitable for them. So usually there are several options with regards to investment when it comes to investor visas. So it can be real estate, it can be the nation, it can be business opportunities, it can be investment funds, or even government bonds. So industry has been growing quite a lot. By the year 2024, it's been raised of 30 billion US dollars through the different investor visa programs. What we need to understand is that there is two processes. One is residency by investment and another one is citizenship by investment. So when it comes to the main difference between the two, it's usually the rights that you obtain. So when you become a resident, you usually get the right to work, study and live in the specific country of choice. So if you get Greek golden visa, you will get all the rights in Greece. When it comes to citizenship, you become the citizen with full rights. And usually, for example, if we compare European residency and European passport, these two documents provide different type of rights and freedoms. So when you get a European passport, then you have rights not just in the country of where you're a citizen, but in the whole EU. So usually when we compare the two programs and we compare what the client needs, residency or citizenship, we look at their final target, what they're trying to achieve with this document, and then we can select whether the Greek golden visa, for example, is enough, or we speak about like citizenship program in comparison. So here we have a chart with all the programs, investment programs that we currently cover in terms of immigration. There is lots of different aspects that we need to look at when we speak about residency or citizenship by investment. So we need to look, for example, at the budget of a client. What is the minimum investment period, like for how long you have to keep your money invested in the specific country, whether there's physical stay required or not, what is the family composition, does the main applicant have spouse, kids, what are the ages of the kids. Then we look at time that it takes to get the residence cards, because clients usually have different time frames when they want to get their visas. Also, you can compare what visa-free access does a specific document gives. So there is many things that we need to look at before we decide what is the right program for you. So this is why we have this helpful table. So when it comes to selecting the right country, I'll always recommend to look at all of these aspects and decide whether it's the best solution for you. So when it comes to Greece, I find that Greece is like one of the most straightforward and fastest programs with regards to golden visa, and you can compare it to other programs like Portugal, for example, or Spain. So I think that Greece is the future of European golden visas, and with the next slide, I'm going to tell you why. So let's talk a little bit more about Greece as a country. Basically, I think that Greece is a beautiful place to live, first of all, because of the variety of benefits that it offers to its residents. It has a rich culture, beautiful landscapes, fantastic climate, especially for those who live in the northern countries, and obviously cultural experiences that it can give you. Also, if you ever travel to Greece, you can always find activity for different type. You can do water sports, you can do hiking, explore historical sites, enjoy Mediterranean diet, which I think is one of the best in the world as well. Compared to many other Western European countries, I think Greece have one of the cheapest cost of living. It's relatively affordable housing, food, entertainment. Also, when it comes to a healthcare system, even the private healthcare system is much more available if you compare it to UK private healthcare system, for example. And Greece offer a number of international schools. So if you want to relocate with your children and you're scared that they might not get the proper education, you're completely wrong. It has British schools and different other types, so it's definitely a great place to relocate with a family. It's a home to significant historical sites such as Acropolis, Delphi, Olympia, so definitely a country that is worth visiting. And also it's one of the best retirement destinations. We have a number of American clients who choose Greece as a place to retire. So definitely something to consider. If we speak about the Greek Golden Visa program, it started back in 2013, and now they've processed over 10,000 Golden Visa applications with over 28,000 people. It raised over 3 billion euros for the country. The main requirement is for the main applicant is to be non-European citizen, have no criminal record, and obviously the funds to invest in the country. The good thing is you can include up to 3 generations in your application. So the main applicant can include spouse, children up to the age of 24, and dependent parents. If we compare Greece to other programs, one of the main benefits is if, for example, you have a kid older than 24, it's still possible. We can make the kid as a main applicant, even if the kid is 18, for example, and then make a main applicant a dependent. And also there is no need to prove the dependency of the parents. So this is the main difference with alternative European Golden Visa programs. There is no restrictions on nationality who can apply for this program. The only exception right now is Russian nationals. They can apply if they have second nationality. But just with a Russian passport, unfortunately, at the moment, it's not possible. So the processing times in Greece as well is actually quite fast, which is about 3 to 4 months from the moment that we complete your investment. And generally, the process is quite straightforward. So how does it work, basically, when it comes to Greek Golden Visa? We can do the process completely remotely, which is also great news. You will only need to travel to Greece once. However, sometimes we obviously have clients who want to visit Greece first. They want to see the real estate options. They want to see if they want to live there in future, what the country looks like, if they're friendly for foreigners. So sometimes people do 2 visits. They can come and select their real estate in person, and then they can do straight away their tax number, their phone number, bank account, and everything that is required. If not, you just sign the power of attorney that allows us to be your representatives in Greece, and we're gonna do the purchase of real estate for you. So we complete the agreement, you put the deposit down, and once the investment is completed, we can apply for your Golden Visa. So what is important to understand, it's not possible to pay partially or to take a mortgage on the property. You need to invest upfront. So the minimum investment required must be done first. And only after the investment is completed and you hold your documents, like, for example, a title deed if you choose property, then we can apply for a Golden Visa. If you haven't visited the country yet, then you need to travel this one time and then complete the tax number and phone number and bank account. If you've already done that, you just travel to do your biometrics, which takes you maybe 2 days max. And then your residence cards will be issued after the biometric appointments, approximately within 2 to 4 months. So it's quite straightforward. Only 1 visit is required, but you can come twice if you want to select your property in person. So what are the main benefits of Greek Golden Visas? So The first and most important is obviously the opportunity to live in Greece, if this is something that you consider. It's one of the cheapest and fastest golden visa options. So in comparison, majority of other golden visas start from 500,000 euros. So Greece is still minimum threshold is 250,000. It gives you an opportunity to travel freely within all 26 Schengen countries. There is no minimum presence requirement. So if we don't calculate that one visit that you come to do your biometrics, there is no need to step foot in Greece at all. So you can enjoy your visa-free travel around Schengen, but not visit Greece. You can establish business in Greece and other Schengen countries. You and your family members who are included in the application can get access to healthcare, education in the country. Also, the property options that we offer for Greek Golden Visa, they have guaranteed returns, so it can be quite a good investment. And in future, if you decide to basically make Greece as your prime location and the country of interest, you can even apply for citizenship after 7 years. But to do that, you actually need to reside in the country for 7 years, and you need to speak Greek language, which might be a bit tricky sometimes, but it's possible. And we now have clients who've done that, spent 7 years, and they're in process of their citizenship. So it's definitely doable. Now let's talk about the main benefits of the EU passport. So if eventually you qualify for citizenship and you get EU passport, then you have unlimited rights basically throughout the whole European Union. You can live in all these 27 European countries. You can retire there. You can work. Your kids can study in European states. Open a business everywhere, and obviously the visa-free travel is much broader. If with Greek Golden Visa you can only travel to other Schengen countries, with European passport, like Greek passport, you can travel to 186 countries. So it's much more freedom of movement, much more opportunities to explore the world. Definitely a stronger passport. So now let's talk about the investment options. Maybe some of you have heard that the investment rules have changed back in September last year. So before you could buy for 250 in all of Greece. Now, unfortunately, it's only for specific options. So 250 can be invested in real estate projects allocated towards conversion of commercial property into residential. Or alternatively, it can be for restoration of listed buildings, basically the buildings of some historical significance. The difficulty with buildings of historical significance is basically they need to be restored by year 5. And if it's not done, you might lose your golden visa. That's why when it comes to 250,000 options, we actually recommend to choose conversion of commercial properties into residential, because all the developers need to do to qualify is to get a permission to change from commercial into residential, and that's it. So once they have this permission, the requirements is fulfilled, and your investment will be suitable for golden visa. When it comes to restoration of historical buildings, you actually need to perform the works within 5 years, or your card will not be renewed. If you don't want to go for any of these projects, it's completely fine. You still can buy residential real estate of your choice, but then it depends on the area where you purchase a property. So if you decide to purchase in densely populated areas like Athens, Saloniki, and any islands with a population over 3,100 inhabitants, you will have to pay minimum 800,000 euros. If we speak about the real estate market in general, I would say a nice villa somewhere in Athens right now will be starting at least 1 million euros. So of course, we say the minimum price is 800,000, but if we look in reality, what is offered on the market, it's probably going to be more. If you want a new build, a good quality house, For other properties, for other areas, you can purchase for 400,000 euros. The investment must be made in a single property unit, and the minimum size of it must be 120 square meters. On this map, on the slide, you can see that all the areas in blue is basically all the areas for 800,000, and the rest, which is in yellow, this is the areas for 400,000. So, for example, Crete is still 400,000 options. Athens, Saloniki, and any big city and densely populated islands will be for 800,000. Lots of people ask, what if we don't want to buy real estate in Greece? This is also possible. There is alternative options offered for investment for Greek Golden Visa. One of them is basically a fixed term deposit for 500,000 with a Greek credit institution or Greek bank. You can also include in a company that is registered in Greece and trades in Greece, also 500,000 euros. You can also invest in Greek government bonds. Again, the minimum amount is 500,000 with a remaining maturity of at least 3 years. And again, it needs to be through a Greek bank. So bank account must be opened first. And also you can purchase shares, corporate bonds of any companies that is trading in Greece and paying taxes in Greece. But here the minimum acquisition value is 800,000 euros. I will be honest, 99% of clients who work with us, they select property as a real estate because it's more straightforward, it's more understandable, and it's definitely easier because the investment will be managed by someone. You get your guarantees returns. And in future, you can even relocate to Greece. Perhaps you want your kids to study here, or you want to retire in the country. So real estate is definitely something that I would recommend to my clients when it comes to Greek Golden Visa. But it's also possible to do investment in financial instruments if you prefer that. So when you come to us, we're happy to advise you on all the options available. So I think I would stop here because I think it's more important to actually hear the questions from the audience rather than me just going into some technical details about the program. And thank you so much for listening.
Fantastic, Alina. That's such an efficient and crisp explanation of it, and it does, and I'm sure you've allayed everyone's fears there. That it's possible. So. Am I right in thinking we can just hand that whole process over to you, basically, and you'll organise the people, you organise the forms, you'll make the applications, everything?
Yes, this is correct. So everything related to making the investment, opening bank accounts, processing the documents, we do it all. So we even submit on behalf of the clients in Greece. That's why they don't need to travel there physically. They only need to travel once to the biometrics. So everything else is covered by us.
Okay, and there's questions, of course. Just to say, I asked at the start where people are, and we've got a bit of a cross section: Southern England and the USA. So that's interesting that people are buying from all over, or moving there from all over. Okay, George has asked: does the resident card allow you to stay indefinitely in other EU locations?
Oh, this is a very good question. And probably my answer is not going to be what people expect me to answer. So you get unlimited stay in Greece. Nobody's going to count how many days you spend there. However, in other Schengen countries, you're still limited to 90 days out of 180 rule. So if you have a British passport, pretty much the same. On the other hand, realistically, there is no borders between EU countries, so it's really hard to trace when you leave Greece and, for example, go to any other European state. But technically, yes, you're still limited to 90 days rule.
Okay, and George has also asked what sort of fees you charge for this excellent service.
Sure. So
I guess
basically,
it would be complicated. But yeah.
So our fees usually varies. It depends on the family size, on what type of investment is chosen, how much involvement does the client want to have in the application. But I would say that the minimum price starts from something like 7,000 euros. Also bear in mind that there is some government fees, there is some property tax when it comes to purchase property. So it's really approach that we have personal to every client. When you come to us, we give you a quote, but it's going to be no hidden fees. So we just disclose everything that you're going to pay throughout the process.
Okay. Now I'm asking, and not for me, asking for a friend. You said a criminal record would stop you getting a golden visa. What sort of criminal record? Is there a minor indiscretion in one's youth? Would that stop one? Is it any criminal record, or is there a kind of a cutoff?
So the rule of thumb is basically that when you request a police record from your country of current residence and citizenship, it needs to be clean, right? So there should be no record on it at all, because any record on it might actually affect the success of your application. And this is what we do for our clients as well. We start with due diligence process first. So if we see something that might be detrimental to the decision, that might basically lead to rejection, we tell the client first, and then they decide if they want to take that risk. But ideally, of course, it should be no records at all.
Okay. Is there any health requirement?
So there is no health requirement, but you will need to purchase insurance that will cover you in Greece and other Schengen countries, and all your family members as well who are included.
And is that expensive?
In general, it's around 200 euros per person.
Per what?
Per person in the application. So, for example, if you have a family of 4, it will be 800 euros for the family.
But is that per month or per
annual.
year?
Annual insurance.
So, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Americans will be amazed how low that is. Fantastic. Okay. James has asked, is there a flat tax of 7% for golden visa holders in Greece for all income?
No, this is incorrect. So basically, you need to understand that the golden visa doesn't lead to tax automatically. It depends whether you actually live in Greece and generate any income in Greece. So if you spend over 183 days, then you become a tax resident in Greece and you'll have to pay tax on your income. Also, if you generate any income in Greece, like for example, you have a property income, then yes, you will be paying tax. But there is no flat tax on all income for golden visa holders.
Okay, and would you say in general that Greece is a relatively high tax area? So if we are staying for that 183 days, should we be worried or not really?
As a person who lives in the UK, I would say nothing to worry at all. I would say it's quite low in comparison to majority of European countries. But again, if we compare it to, for example, like countries that are not EU or US, it might look a little bit higher. So I would say on average, it's like 24+%. So.
Okay. Karen has asked, are there any islands apart from Crete with investments of 400,000?
Yes, so basically any island that is populated less than 3,100 people. So if you inquire with us, we will be happy to give you a little bit more detail on where like clients are basically purchasing on the different islands. What is also what is also important to understand is basically that if you decide to purchase property for 400,000, it needs to be managed by someone. So it needs to be on the island with a good infrastructure. And usually if it's an island with good infrastructure, the prices are going to be higher anyways to begin with. It's not going to be like lots of options for 400,000 if it's a good location. So usually if we speak about a popular island where people come for holidays, even if it's like low density population, I think the prices will still be higher than 400,000. So it's something to consider. Like if you want to buy a good house that you're willing to live in future, that you hope to rent out, the Greek real estate market is quite warm right now, and it keeps like growing. You know, it's lots of inquiries, lots of people buy for their own personal use. So 400,000 option is very hard to find if we're being realistic.
Okay, but presumably, I suppose you buy a house in one of the cheaper regions. Presumably, you don't necessarily have to live in that house. You can, if you really wanted to, you could buy a house in a 250,000 area and live elsewhere. Is that a possibility, or are there restrictions on that?
Of course, you can invest in projects of conversion from commercial to residential for 250, and you can also buy a house in any area that you like.
Okay. So we're getting into the detail of questions. Louise is saying, if there are no checks when you leave or return to Greece from EU countries, how do they track if you triggered the 183-day residence?
So as I said, it's not that easy to basically trigger, because you know that there is no really any borders between the European countries, and nobody stamps your passport if you, for example, travel from Greece to France. But this is probably again more about your planning, how like you want to prove in future, for example, that you haven't spent that amount of days in the country or not. So the like basically the rule that it says in the law is that you have 90 days out of 183. The rest is more up to you. But if somebody notices that you're breaking the rules, it will be up to you to prove that you haven't done anything wrong.
Sure. I think they might stamp your passport if you turn up with a British or American passport, but perhaps we just have to go by ferry instead. Okay. We are nearly out of time. We did have one question saying, okay, so if we can't make the golden visa, what if we haven't quite got enough for that, what other options are there visa wise?
So there are lots of different options for visas. There is a visa for digital nomads, for example, for people who work remotely and they have a certain income, or there is a financially independent person visa that is for people who have passive income, for example, the income from renting out their properties. What's important to understand, the other visa types usually require minimum presence, so 6 months out of a year, and also other visas usually lead to tax. So the golden visa's main benefit is it doesn't require minimum presence and it doesn't make you a tax resident automatically. With other visas, I would be careful, especially if you live in a country like US, where you kind of like can't avoid double taxation. So it's something to think about before you start the journey.
Okay, excellent. And so we can get all that done and dusted in 3 to 4 months. You said so we can be in by the summer. Which is fantastic. Would you advise looking at the property first and getting all that organised, or can it be done retrospectively? Can we, in fact, if we've already got a property in Greece, can we still get a golden visa based on that property?
It really depends because, as I said, the rules have recently changed and the minimum threshold went up. So if you bought something for lower than 400,000, then no, unfortunately, it doesn't work retrospectively. But we can still look into it. Ideally, you just choose a project for 250, a conversion from commercial to residential, and we offer a number of projects in the good locations with guaranteed returns. So this will be the easiest way.
Yeah, yes, it does seem that there's all sorts of hands-off investments, so we can just invest in a really good project and then just go and live there and do what we like. Okay, that's all we've got time for. Thank you very much, Alina. That was a really terrific run through. I'm really impressed at how much we got through and how easy it all looks and how efficient your operation is with 100% pass rate. So that's really good. A couple of housekeeping things. Don't forget our next Your Overseas Home virtual event. We spent all day dealing with these things. We're open from 8 a.m. UK time to 8 p.m. UK time. So that's to help the Americans get on too. So do register now for the virtual the virtual event where hopefully Alina will be there with her colleagues. And also, can I just ask if you found this session helpful? You could put a little review on Trustpilot, which all helps to get the name out there. There should be a link coming up. There it is. Thank you very much. And yeah, that's all we've got time for. We've got more questions still coming in. So do please contact Alina. We strongly recommend that you get in touch with Alina at Holborn Assets and you get to move to Greece, as we'd all like to. Thank you very much, Alina, and thank you to all our viewers. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.